It was nice that it wasn't such a back and forth type game. Timmy set the tone very well and came out and threw the ball outstanding. So it was big. It was needed from a confidence booster perspective, a team morale perspective, and then just offensively coming in immediately putting a couple runs across was big. I think we left a few runs out there in the second that would have been nice to really cash in and get a nice cushion early, but is what it is. But Timmy coming out and doing that was huge, and being able, like you said, to preserve a few arms that we didn't have to use tonight or even get up and get loose was big for us. Austin Humphreys threw the ball really well tonight and looked kind of more of the Austin Humphreys that we expect, I guess. He's been working on a couple of mechanical things with Sam, and that looked to pay dividends tonight. It looked really good coming out tonight with him, and then we were able to get Will Rogers in the game, which we've wanted to do here for a little while. As you see, he's got a power arm, that we could certainly use down the stretch if we can polish him up a little bit with the running game and things like that. He can help us. So it was nice to get him into a game and kind of a soft landing, if you will, and hopefully build some confidence with him going forward.
The guys seemed a little surprised that Will was getting up to 94. Was that a little shocking to you?
No. I've seen it before. I think they were just excited for him, that he was cutting it loose and letting it go and feeling good. But I've seen that out of him before, and anybody that's seen him throw the ball from the outfield knows that type of velo is in there. I actually think there's more in there once he starts really getting comfortable. But, he's got good breaking stuff as well. So that's something that we could build upon, hopefully, with him and continue to keep him, getting sharper and sharper.
Is there a role for him in the staff as the games get bigger and bigger down the stretch?
Well, that's what we wanted to find out. Is you don't know unless you get him in a game and start seeing him react and put him in situations, game situations. So that's why it was imperative to get him into a game like this tonight and see how he did. And we'll continue to look for situations to get him on the bump, but also we have not given up on his bat either. He still is a threat offensively as well. So it's just a matter of getting him in the right situations where he can be successful.
Last week couldn't have gone worse for Timmy, and now this week he couldn't have gone better. Four perfect innings or 3 perfect innings. What did you see out of him today? What was working, and what did he change from last week?
Just confidence, I think, that type of thing. Just came out and threw the ball aggressively and was on the attack mode tonight, and everything just looked a lot more confident with him. So I think that was something we talked about after last week. Was obviously not it's a day we all want to forget about, but when you have those type of days, you try to learn from them, and we talked about it like, hey man, you're getting the ball again. Don't start doubting yourself. You have really good stuff, and just breathing confidence into him. And he came out tonight and was excited to get a chance to start again and did very well. So, again, and the great part about it was he got us 3 innings, 35 pitches. So he was very efficient, and we're able to bring him back be ready for this weekend.
Is that why you didn't let him go longer?
Correct. Yeah, we just, he gave us what he needed to give us. We figured if Maddie and Tim could give us, 5, we would be in decent shape for what we had. And go from there, and both those guys would be available for the weekend.
What's kind of the plan, given how things went today, pitching-wise? Who do you plan on using, and who do you plan on starting, I guess, specifically tomorrow?
We're going to probably start with Ross Dunn tomorrow, and open with him. I don't know how long he'll go, but probably a couple innings is my guess. Something just to kind of keep him sharp, and his bullpen day was today. We didn't use him today, so we're going to start him tomorrow. And we'll see how long he goes. I'm not sure. We'll determine that as the game goes. But get him out there tomorrow and get him a couple innings of work, and then get him ready for the weekend as well.
So that effectively gives Timmy an option to start this weekend. Is that something that you might try and move him into again, like you did earlier in the year?
Not necessarily. We're going to do. We got to get through tomorrow first, and then after tomorrow we'll look at the weekend and see how we match up or what the best matchups are, and then go from there. But we got to get through tomorrow first, and tomorrow's a big game for us, so we got to come out ready to play tomorrow.
For a guy like Austin and even Will to come in come in all that often. You said they were sharp and ready. What are those guys kind of doing? I guess obviously staying ready, but what are some things maybe you're saying, or Sam and even the other pitchers, that they're not being used as consistently as some of the other guys in big conference series, but for them to come in when needed to do what they did tonight?
Well, they understand, and I think our team understands that everyone's got to do their part. We can't just keep running the same guys out there. They're gonna wear down and break down. So guys are gonna have to step up, and that's kind of been the mantra with when we have our meetings, basically daily or every game day. It's everyone's got to be ready to do their part, and you get your opportunity and you're called upon. You want more playing time, then do your job when you get the opportunity. And we try to do our best to keep those guys sharp throughout the week. If they're not pitching on the weekend, we'll try to give them live ABs. Against some of our hitters that aren't getting the amount of at-bats that they want either, to keep those guys sharp. So when they do get an opportunity, they're given the best chance to be successful. So, like I said, Austin did a great job tonight. Will did a good job. That's what, they made the most of their opportunity.
And 17 hits tonight without the best hitter arguably in the lineup too. How close is Campy to maybe getting back in there, potentially in Eugene this weekend, or is that still kind of day by day?
It's still day by day. He continues to get treatment on it. I'm very hopeful that he could be back, maybe by Saturday or Sunday in Eugene, but I'm not going to push it if he's not ready. He's going to have to go through some progressive steps in order to get to that point. But we're this far down in the process, so the last thing I want to do is rush it a day or before it's ready and then put him right back to square one. I'd rather wait a few more days if we have to. Nobody wants him back in the lineup more than I do, other than maybe himself. But it's one of those things where we're weathering the storm without him. We're doing okay without him. It's going to be a nice boost when we get him back, whether that be against Oregon or the following weekend. So part of me, obviously, Oregon's going to be important. Every game's going to be important, but the main thing is he's healthy and ready when he comes back. So if that takes a few more days, then so be it.
Luke Keeshal's been one of your best players all year. We've praised him constantly. But were you expecting the power numbers he didn't put up this year? He came in and he didn't hit that many homers at USF last year, but so far he's got 11 on the year this year. Was that something you guys expected coming into the season?
How do I put this with Luke? I guess, yeah, I did expect it, just based upon what type of kid he is and his work ethic and how much he cares about being a good baseball player and cares about being a good teammate and helping this program. I get to be around him every day, and I see the work he puts in and how diligent he is and how much he cares, and I see the talent and the tools that he has. So for me to sit here and say I expected that out of him, that may be unfair, but I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way, because he's the type of kid that he gets everything that he deserves because of his work ethic and the type of young man he is. So the sky is the limit for him. I wouldn't put any restrictions or limitations on him as far as what I expect of him, because he's the guy that if you put expectations on him, he's going to blow them away. And he can do whatever it sounds the old cliche, whatever he puts his mind to, he has a way of figuring it out and getting it done. So he's the type of kid that you'd like to clone and just have a ton of them coming in just like him every year. We'd be pretty dang good if that were the case. So there's not enough Luke Keeshels in the world.
You said after the GCU game that you were going to take it a little slow with McLean coming back from the injury. His bat has taken it anything but slow. I think the stat was 8 hits in his first 8 games coming back. Is he going to become a staple with the lineup down the stretch? Do you want to get to a point by the end of the season where you're using him every game?
I plan on using him every game. So as long as he's healthy and his hand isn't giving him any problems, he'll be in there. So he's, we got to take it, be smart about his legs. I think is when you first jump back into playing after not playing for a while, that 3-4 week mark is usually when you got to make sure you take care of the legs especially. So we'll discuss that as a training staff and talk with Jesse and see if there's a day maybe we give him a DH spot, that type of thing, just to keep his bat in the lineup but get him off his feet a little bit. But maybe tomorrow might be the day for that. But bottom line, he's a staple in the lineup, and I think hopefully you guys can see why I was so excited at the beginning of the year to get him in the lineup.
Luke Hill, 3 RBI today, and he's became a key contributor as a freshman. How has his kind of bat and defensive play progressed throughout the season?
Luke has been he's a young man that is again very high potential ceiling. We got to keep grinding with him and keep him mentally sharp. And when he's focused like he has been lately, he's pretty good. And defensively, there's still, there's always going to be things that you can fine tune and get better at. The facts are he knows that, and he's going to keep grinding and keep working. And we're not going to take our foot off the throttle with him because he's the type of kid that needs to be challenged daily, I think, and he responds to challenges very well.
Luke and Luke both going yard today. I mean, it seems like they've been very, very close this year. Obviously, the middle infield, both named Luke, so many similarities. How have you seen their relationship kind of progress this year?
Well, Luke Keishel is kind of the big brother to Luke Hill, I guess, and there's times when Luke Hill makes a freshman mistake or a young guy mistake, and Keishel, you can just see him boiling inside, and he gets mad. And I say, handle it, man. You're getting paid babysitting hours. You got to go handle him at times. And so they have really developed, from what I can tell, a pretty good relationship out there in the middle. Always talking, but that I've told Luke Hill to, if you want to know what it's like to be a baseball player, you follow Luke Keishel around and just watch and do what he does. That's going to be the best way for you to learn how to be a pro and how to be what you're supposed to be as a baseball player. So I think he's taken to that. There's still room to grow for Luke Hill, and I think I told Keish, you just stay on him, man. If you start seeing him fade out and lose focus, you grab him and make sure he's your job out there too. Sometimes you guys got to feed off each other, and Keish has done an outstanding job with him and continuing to progress and teach him, I guess, as a teammate out there.
It's also kind of surreal for you, having played on the infield for most of your career, to see those two guys sort of mesh the way they have, and being someone who maybe even sees a little bit of yourself in them. Have you sort of had those thoughts at all?
Those two are way more talented than I was. So, for me, it's I've turned the page on as a player, but at times what they're thinking, what they're feeling, because I've been in those shoes before, and that to me is, I guess, what I can bring to them as a coach, is I understand, because I've been in those shoes when, the other day when Luke Hill had a tough day defensively. I've been there, man. I get it. It sucks, where you're starting to doubt yourself, but the best way out of that is to stay aggressive with your feet. And we worked on it the next day, and hopefully got him right back in the groove so it doesn't linger. And so I guess that's what I can offer to these guys, is the fact that good or bad, I've been there. Not quite as good as they're doing, but on the bad side, I've been there more often, I guess, to where I'm able to help them along and help them through those times.